Urgent Kansas City Chiefs fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Kansas City Chiefs updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, Chiefs fans, today we have some fascinating news that could have a significant impact on the upcoming season. We're talking about the latest developments from the NFL draft, specifically how the Chiefs are shaping their roster with a keen eye on special teams. Now, I know what many of you are thinking, most focus on star quarterbacks, wide receivers, or defensive linemen, right? But today, we're diving into a less obvious, yet incredibly important aspect of team building, the special teams contributions, especially from the rookies. Because, let's be honest, in Kansas City, the way a team performs on special teams can sometimes be the difference between winning or losing close games, and this year, the Chiefs are showing some interesting tendencies when it comes to drafting players who excel in return game roles. You see, the Chiefs have always been a team that values versatility. It's part of their identity. We saw that last year, for example, when players like Nico Remigio made waves as a returner, flipping field positions and giving Patrick Mahomes more opportunities to operate with favorable field position. But this year's draft class brings two intriguing names that could shake things up in the return game, Brashard Smith and Noel Williams. Both of these guys come from college backgrounds where they demonstrated impressive kick return skills and the ability to impact the game in special teams situations right from the get-go. Let's start by talking about Brashard Smith. He's a player who, during his time at Miami, showcased explosive athleticism and an uncanny ability to find open space on returns. Over his college career, Smith accumulated a total of 295 kick return yards, averaging around 24 yards per return. That's a solid number, especially when you consider the level of competition he faced in the NCAA. His ability to read blocks, combined with quick acceleration, makes him a real threat whenever he's back there. Now, Smith didn't only excel in kick returns, he also had limited opportunities as a punt returner, with just 5 attempts in college. Still, his speed and vision could give the Chiefs a new dimension in special teams, especially if they want to diversify their return options. On the other hand, we have Noel Williams from California. Williams has a comparable skill set, with 651 kick return yards and a very close average of 24 yards per return. Interestingly, about half of those yards came during his final college season, which suggests he was trending upward as a returner. Williams was used in both kick and punt return situations, with 27 kick return attempts and 11 punt return attempts in college. While he didn't get as many opportunities as Smith, his experience as a cornerback adds an extra layer to his value. That dual role could make him a versatile player for Kansas City, especially when considering the importance of special teams coverage units. Now, I want to pause here for a moment. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Kansas City Chiefs news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Because, folks, the competition for these returner spots isn't just about raw talent. Coaches like Dave Tubb, who's renowned for his special teams expertise, are looking for players who can contribute immediately and provide value on multiple fronts. The Chiefs are known for their meticulous roster management, and special teams players often have to wear multiple hats. So, for Smith and Williams, their impact could go beyond just returning kicks. It could influence how the roster shapes up overall. Now, let's look at the current landscape of the returner position for Kansas City. The team's recent history shows that Nico Remigio has been a key figure in the return game, especially highlighted during the playoffs last year. He flashed incredible explosiveness and field awareness, making game-changing plays. Remember that game on Christmas Day against the Steelers? Remigio was instrumental in flipping the field multiple times, helping the Chiefs gain momentum and set up their offense in advantageous positions. Given his performance, it's likely he has the inside track to retain those roles again this season. But with the addition of Smith and Williams, the competition heats up. And it's worth noting, there might only be one or two other names to watch in this race. Carson Steele, for instance, has seen some preseason action as a returner, and if he continues to develop, he could be a dark horse candidate. Xavier Worthy, who made an impact as a punt returner at Texas, was expected to get some opportunities last year, but that never materialized. He was primarily used on offense. So, for Smith and Williams, they might only need to beat out a handful of players to secure their spots in the return game. But beyond just the returner battle, their presence on special teams could influence the overall roster decisions, especially at the skill positions. Typically, the Chiefs keep around 4 running backs, and if Smith is used heavily on special teams, it could create a roster dilemma when it comes to wide receivers and tight ends. Do they keep more receivers? Or do they prioritize a versatile player like Smith who can contribute both on offense and special teams? It's a balancing act, and the same goes for Williams. His skills as a cornerback could give him an edge in coverage units, and that might sway the coaching staff to keep him over other defensive backs. This leads us to another interesting aspect: how the special teams influence defensive roster decisions. Kansas City, under Steve Spagnuolo, has built a formidable defense, but the roster is always a puzzle. If Williams can prove he's valuable on special teams, especially as a cover man, it might tip the scales in his favor when it comes to defensive back decisions. Conversely, if Smith impresses in returning and adds value on offense, his versatility might make him an essential part of the roster, pushing out other players who can only contribute in specific roles. And let's not forget the strategic importance of special teams during the season. We've seen in recent years how a game-changing return or a pivotal coverage play can swing momentum, especially in the playoffs. The Chiefs, with their high-powered offense led by Patrick Mahomes, have often benefited from excellent field position, which is heavily influenced by the return game. That's why the coaching staff, led by Dave Tubb, places such a premium on special teams players who can execute under pressure. They're looking for guys who can perform in high-stakes situations, players like Remigio last year, who stepped up when it mattered most. Now, considering the current roster construction, it's interesting to think about how these rookies might fit in. The Chiefs usually carry around 9 to 10 defensive backs, but the number can fluctuate depending on special teams' contributions. If Williams becomes a reliable returner and shows promise as a defensive back, he could push for a spot, possibly at the expense of a veteran or a less versatile player. Similarly, Smith's dual-threat ability could lead to him being used as a gadget player or even a slot receiver, giving Kansas City more options on offense and special teams alike. Furthermore, the draft process and the evaluation of these players reflect the Chiefs' long-term strategy. They're not just drafting for immediate impact, they're building a roster that can adapt and excel in multiple phases of the game. With the NFL becoming increasingly specialized, having players who excel on special teams is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Teams like Kansas City understand this well, and the fact that they're investing draft capital into players with return skills speaks volumes about their approach. Looking ahead, the real test will come in training camp and preseason. Coaches will scrutinize how Smith and Williams perform in live situations, how quickly they adapt to the speed of the NFL, and whether they can translate their college success into the pros. It's a competitive environment, and every rep counts. The battle for those returner spots might seem minor compared to the starting quarterback or star receivers, but in reality, it can be the difference maker in tight games, playoff positioning, and even Super Bowl runs. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that the Chiefs' approach to roster building this season is shaping up to be both strategic and flexible. They're betting on players like Smith and Williams to bring immediate impact in the return game, but also to add depth across multiple units. The coaching staff, especially Dave Tubb, is known for his ability to identify and develop special teams talent, and this year's draft picks are no exception. It's a fascinating chess match, and Chiefs fans should keep a close eye on how these rookies perform in the coming weeks. And now, Kansas City Chiefs fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Smith and Williams will secure the returner roles? Or do you believe Remigio will continue to dominate? Are there other players you think might surprise everyone? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us but to the future of this team. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned and keep supporting your Chiefs. This season promises to be exciting, and with these new additions, the team is certainly looking to make a statement in 2025. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Chiefs!